Hello, everyone. Welcome to day one of our Ready, Set, Job, your guide to career readiness. I'm Kim, your community manager here at Pacive, and I'm thrilled to have you all join us. Over the next few days, we're going to dive deep into the ins and outs of the job application process. So you'll work away feeling prepared, confident, and ready to take on any challenge. To kick things off, here's a quick overview of what to expect. Today, we'll cover everything from job search strategies to resume building basics, application tracking systems or the ATS, and interview preparation. We have an amazing lineup of recruiters and experts who will be guiding you throughout each stage. Plus, we'll end with an interactive Q&A session where you can ask our speakers all your burning and interesting questions. Before we dive in, I want to remind you all to sign up in Pacive. Here, you can use this link right here to access our website. If you haven't already, to access all the tailored job opportunities and resources just for you. Also, join our vibrant Discord right here. You will have access to more exclusive resources, a community that supports you, as well as support networking with peers, and don't miss out with our sweepstake and contest as well. For a chance to win a 1 year Passive Premium, also a 1 month one-on-one coaching session with us, and the opportunity to be featured on our socials as well. You're here because you're ready to get serious about your career, right? So let's make today count. Get ready to take notes, ask questions, and make the most of every moment. Here's to building the future you're aiming for. Let's get started. All right, everyone, to start us off,
Hi everyone. Hi. So I'm excited to join about this workshop. By the way, my name is Mark. I've been in the recruitment for 5 years now as an executive recruitment consultant, and basically I'm excited to discuss job search strategies with you. So, without further ado, let's start. Okay. All right. I'm excited to dive into our discussions today, which covers several important topics that are shaping our industry, which are self-assessment, creating strong professional brand, leveraging your network, and preparing for interviews. So let's get started. So number one in my list would be self-assessment. So why is it important when it comes to landing a job? Basically, by evaluating yourself, you gain clarity on what roles suit you the best and where you can add the most value. Self-assessment also prepares you to communicate your strengths confidently in interviews and help you identify the areas for improvement, boosting your overall competitiveness in the job market. And having said that, here are the three things that you need to remember. So number one would be identifying your strength and weaknesses. So understanding your strength and weaknesses is a crucial step in personal and professional development. So this is to identify your strength and weakness, reflect on past success and failures, seek feedback, and consider your areas of comfort and discomfort. So this self awareness can help you set goals, improve, and make informed decisions. Remember to embrace a growth mindset and view weakness as an opportunities of growth. Second bullet would be skill development. So, skill development is the process of improving your abilities and knowledge. This can include learning new skills or enhancing the existing ones. It's important for both personal and professional growth. By continuously developing your skills, you can advance your career, solve problems more effectively, and certainly achieving your goals. And last bullet would be defining your ideal job. So, why is it important? It should be aligning with your passions, skills, and values. It should provide opportunities for growth, challenge, and fulfillment. So, you have to consider factors such as work life balance, company culture, compensation, and also the location when defining your ideal job. So, these insights will allow you to target job opportunities that align with your abilities and aspirations. So, making your search more effective, basically. So that would be the number one. Second would be creating a professional brand. So what is it all about? So creating a professional brand is essential for a job search because it makes you memorable, build trust, and highlights your unique values to employers. By this, I highlighted two important things that you need to remember. Number one would be resume and a cover letter. So, a resume is simply a document that summarizes your work experience, education, and skills, basically. It's a professional introduction to potential employers. And you have to think of it as a snapshot of your career journey. While a cover letter is a personalized letter that you send with your resume, it explains why you're interested in a specific job and how your skills and experience make you a good fit for the position. It's also your chance to highlight your unique qualification and show enthusiasm for the job, basically. Last bullet would be online presence. So, an active online presence, particularly on job boards, is crucial for career advancement. It helps you build professional brand, network with industry professionals, increase job visibility, and stay updated on industry trends and establish yourself as a thought leader. So having said those, it will not only help in landing job, but also supports long-term career growth by establishing a positive reputation that evolves with you. So that would be our number two. Number three would be leveraging your network. So, what is leveraging your network? Leveraging your network boosts your job search by connecting you to hidden opportunities, providing valuable referrals, and offering industry insights. And by this, I highlighted four bullets. First bullet would be use job boards effectively. So, to effectively utilize job boards, you have to choose the right platform, optimize your profiles, set up job alerts, tailor your application, and use advanced search features, networks, and follow up on applications. Second bullet would be online job aggregators. So for those who are not familiar, online job aggregators is like a central hub for job seekers. One best example is Google Jobs. So online job aggregators are one of the powerful tools that simplify your job search by consolidating job listing from various sources into one convenient platform. And this platform saves you time and effort by eliminating the need to visit multiple websites. Third bullet would be social media. So social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram can be a powerful tools too for job seekers. By optimizing your profiles, connecting with professionals, joining groups, and sharing relevant content, you can increase your visibility and network with potential employers. And lastly, attending industry events. Attending industry events, whether online or personal, is also one of a powerful way to network, learn, and advance your career. By actively participating in industry events, you can expand your professional network and gain valuable insights. So, in a nutshell, networking is a powerful tool for job seekers. By building relationship with professionals in your field, you can gain valuable insights, learn about job opportunities, and receive support throughout your career. And finally, we're now down to the last um, things that you need to remember, which is preparing for your interview. So, preparing for interviews in advance, even before landing a job, offers numerous benefits. It boosts your confidence, allows for quick response times, improves performance, enhances knowledge, and aids in professional development. So, that's why I highlighted three bullet points on this part. First bullet would be researching about the company. You have to learn about the company history, mission, and recent news. It allows you to tailor your application, demonstrate interest, prepare for interviews, assess cultural fit, and align your long-term career goals with the company's vision. Second bullet would be practice common interview questions. So why do we need to practice? It's basically improve communication skills, help you deeply in identifying your strengths and weaknesses, prepares for unexpected question, and basically reduces your anxiety. It simply helps you boost your confidence, just like you're talking to a friend. And last bullet would be stay positive and persistent. Maintain a positive attitude and keep actively searching for opportunities. Always remember, a successful job search takes time and effort. So, those are the things that you need to remember. And I have additional things that can also help you when it comes to securing a job, basically. So here are the few things that can also help. Uh, First bullet would be preparing a portfolio. So a portfolio is a visual representation of your skills and abilities. So it's a powerful tool that can help you stand out from other job applicants and showcase your work in a compelling way. Second bullet would be online courses and certification. By investing in online learning, you can advance your career and increase your earning potential and also stay competitive in today's job market. Last bullet would be job search workshop and webinars. So by attending these events like what we have right now, you can gain expert guidance, receive personalized advice, and stay motivated throughout to your job search. So in conclusion, a successful job search is a multifaceted endeavor that requires strategic approach. And by understanding your strengths and weaknesses, crafting and compelling professional brand, leveraging your network, utilizing online resources, and preparing effectively for interviews, you can significantly increase your chances of landing your dream job. Remember to stay positive, persistent, and patient throughout the process, and don't hesitate to seek professional help if needed. And so, yeah, that's all for me today. So, I just want to give a little tip before we end the slides. Finding the right job takes time or takes more than just sending in your application. So, good luck, and I look forward to seeing you achieve your goals in the future. Have a good one.
Thank you, Mark. You've given us so many great insights into finding job openings and building a network that actually works out for us. Networking, as you mentioned, is truly invaluable. Now, let's make sure that beautifully crafted resume gets seen by the right eyes. And now, here's Rebal. ATS filters can be tricky.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Rabal Israel. I have been working as an HR professional for almost 8 years now, primarily in recruitment. During this time, I've learned that an ATS or an applicant tracking system can be a recruiter's best friend, or honestly, a bit of a challenge or a headache. Today, I want to walk you through what an ATS actually is, why it's such an essential tool for recruitment, and how we can optimize both job postings and resumes to make the most of it. By the end of this session, I hope you'll feel more confident about using ATS and have a few actionable tips that you can put into practice right away. So let's start with the basics. An ATS, or an applicant tracking system, is a software used by a lot of companies to manage their hiring process from start to finish. Think of it as a hub where all job applications, candidate details, and communications live. And why it's essential? imagine posting a job and getting hundreds and thousands of resumes in return. Without an ATS, it's kind of like impossible to actually manage and sort through every application, find the right skills, or keep track of any and every candidate that's in the process. But with an ATS, you can quickly identify which candidates meet your criteria and move them through the process more efficiently. ATS is not just only for big companies or huge conglomerates. While about 90% of the Fortune 500 companies use one, businesses today of all sizes are adopting them because they basically simplify the hiring process in a huge way. We're going to discuss about some key features of ATS and why it's so helpful. So when a resume comes into a recruiter, the ATS parses it, or simply it breaks it down into data like names, contact information, skills, and experience. This helps the system rank and filter applicants quickly. So ATS systems are also programmed to look for specific keywords that match the job description. For example, if a job requires data analysis, resumes with that phrase will probably rank higher than those without it. Some ATS platforms let us post to multiple job boards and manage applicants all in one place, which saves us a ton of time. ATS platforms can also provide insights like how long it takes to fill a role, even diversify metrics. This data is usually helpful for improving our hiring strategies. So analytics and reporting comes to the list as well. Now, with every software, there are some advantages and disadvantages. So for an ATS specifically, let's go over some of the pros and cons. So the benefits of using an ATS is that it speeds up the hiring by automatically filtering resumes, so a recruiter can focus on the best candidates. It also helps with compliance by tracking every applicant and the stage of the process they're in or they're at the point in time, which is important to for equal employment opportunities and in the hiring process. ATS also helps the candidates keeps informed. Most of the ATSs will automatically send updates to the candidates when they're moved in the process of the ATS. So the recruiter could do that themselves as well, but the ATS usually does that. Now, while there are benefits to using an ATS, there are also limitations. So ATS can have some downsides. For instance, if a candidate's resume is not formatted just right, the system or the ATS might not read it correctly. This can sometimes mean that good candidates with the improper formatting of their resumes can get overlooked. Also, because ATS relies heavily on keywords, it can end up filtering out people who might actually be a good fit for the role, but didn't use the exact right wording. So we need to be very careful of that. Let's talk about how ATS impacts candidates and how they can optimize these resumes, how they can counter these limitations, right? So it's all about matching keywords. I would encourage candidates to read up on the job description very closely and use the same language for skills or experience that is used in the job description on their resumes. So for example, if a JD or job description says project management, it's helpful for the candidate to use that phrase instead of just saying managed projects. Formatting comes in, like I mentioned in the limitations, right formatting is needed. ATS doesn't always play well with fancy formatting. So it's best if candidates usually keep things clean and simple. They can avoid tables, images, or complex graphics, since these can often confuse the ATS. A basic, well-organized layout is usually the safest choice. The resume can be tailored for each specific job post. So an ATS always doesn't play, when you keep things clean and simple, keep your resume updated for any job post that you might like. So customize your resume for each role. So they don't have a start from scratch. The ATS doesn't have to start from scratch for every job role that you have. But you can adjust a few keywords, match the JD a bit better, and that eventually can make a huge difference in the job hunt that you're going. Um, and as recruiters, we also play a crucial role in making sure job postings are ATS friendly. So the recruiters, it's their responsibility to make sure that. So as a recruiter, I need to post clear job titles, using straightforward job titles that people actually search for. Creative or unusual titles, job titles might sound cool, but they can also confuse the ATS and even the candidates in, applying for the right opportunity that suits their skill set. Um, as a recruiter, I should include specific skills and experiences that a candidate could be looking for. These keywords would help the ATS match the right candidates to the job and the candidates to, use the relevant keywords in their resumes when they're applying for it. Um, we use bullet points to make your descriptions easy to scan for the ATS. This is both better for both the ATS and the recruiter who's probably going to be going through your resume, who's going to be skimming through it, so they can find the right and relevant information when and how they need it. So that is pretty much the basics overview of what an ATS actually is and how it can affect the candidate and how we can optimize both resumes and job postings to work better with these systems. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll be open to questions at the end of the session.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebal. ATS optimization can be a game changer, definitely, for sure. Like, I personally experienced that myself, actually. So, all right. So, you've passed the ATS stage, everyone. So, you got the basics of that. The next step is acing your interview. And you're in for a real treat because Rebal is back to help us prepare. Rebal is still here to help you prepare for the interviews. Right. He'll cover everything from answering common questions to strategies that make you stand out. Rebal, take it away again.
Thank you very much, Kim. Um, Back again. So now that we've cleared the ATS part and hopefully we're past the initial screening. So now I'll be walking you through some essential strategies for preparing for those interviews that you would be landing soon. Interviews can be a very nerve-wracking experience, but with the right preparation, they don't necessarily have to be. So today we'll cover 4 key areas: research, structuring your answers, self-presentation, and common pitfalls to avoid. So I want you to walk away with the tips you can use right away in the next interview. So let's start with research. This is about going beyond a quick look at the company's website. You want to know what they're all about. So, go through all of their pages, look at their values, their recent projects, or any big news that they've been involved in. This would show the interviewer that you're genuinely interested and have a feel for their culture, so you're well versed with that. Then there are job descriptions. Take a close look at the skills and the tasks that they mention. If they're emphasizing on certain responsibilities, that's your hint to highlight those in your answers. So take a moment to learn about the industry, about the organizations in that where you're applying at. You don't need to be an expert necessarily, but having the basic idea of what's going on in the field can actually make you sound more knowledgeable and well-rounded. And this would definitely give you an edge if they asked about how you approach certain industry challenges. This would probably give you an edge. One of the most effective ways to actually answer interview questions, especially those behavioral questions like, tell me about a time, is basically with the STAR method. This stands for situation, task, action, and result. So, and just an example. Imagine if the interviewer asked, tell me about a time you had to lead a team. So using the STAR method, here's how you could answer that. So set the situation, set the scene briefly. Like in my previous job, we had a tight deadline for an important project. Task. What was your responsibility? I was responsible for organizing a team to meet the deadline. Action. What steps did you take? I delegated tasks based on each person's strengths and held daily check-ins to stay on top of the project or stay on track. The result. What happened? The conclusion. We finished 2 days early and the client was really impressed. So adding quantifiable results can make your answer even stronger. numbers, metrics like improvised process efficiency by 20%, or saved $1,000 or $10,000. These quantifiable results make your achievements tangible and more memorable. Um, Self-presentation. So first impressions lost. So that's what we've been hearing all our lives. So they do count. So you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself really well. For virtual interviews, check what your background is. Ensure that it looks clean. Ensure that you have a strong and secure internet connection, and you've got a good light. It really does make an impact. For in-person interviews, dress in a way that aligns with the company's culture. Your body language also matters. So good eye contact, a calm tone, and natural gestures go a long way in building rapport. Avoid crossing your arms or probably fidgeting. They can make you look, uncomfortable or even closed off. So closed arms means closed off probably. And don't forget to have a few questions ready for when they ask. So, probably at the end of the interview, all of you would have gone through, do you have any questions for us? So this isn't just about curiosity. It shows you've invested and thinking seriously about the role. Ask things like, can you tell me more about the team? What does success for this position look like? So that you know what to expect when you're assuming that you're hired for the role as well. Now let's talk about some common mistakes that people make during interviews and how you can actually avoid them. So first, don't ramble. It's easy to go off on a tangent when you're nervous, but try to keep your answers focused and concise. Using the STAR method can really help with this. Another common mistake is being too vague. So general answers don't stand out. So back up your skills with specific examples. Use quantifiable results as well. So instead of just saying, I'm a good leader, talk about a time you led a team and what the outcome was, results. And watch your tone. I mean, there's a fine line between confidence and overconfidence. Don't undersell yourself, but also avoid sounding too boastful. Aim for a calm, factual tone, and let your examples do the talking for themselves. And finally, don't forget to prepare questions for them. So when candidates say they don't have any questions, it can seem like they're not really interested in the role or the organization. So having a few thoughtful questions ready shows that you're engaged and serious about joining the team. So just to wrap it up and to skim over the top, the points that we've covered here is do your research, learn about the company and the job. Use the STAR method to structure your answers and keep them on point, keep them precise. Pay attention to self-presentation, both in how you look and how you communicate. And avoid common pitfalls like continuously speaking, elongating your answers, like rambling. Don't give vague answers and forgetting to ask questions. I hope these steps actually gave you more confidence and let you ace your next interview. So thank you, Kim, and thank you everybody for having me over. And I'll be open to questions when the session ends. Over to you, Kim.
Thank you, Rabal. Definitely, feeling prepared for an interview really makes a difference. Personally, like I used to practice like a whole week and then like flunk it up when it when the day comes. So yeah, definitely it takes a while too, right? To get used to being interviewed. So
But
yeah, that's one of my
thanks for
personal experiences as
you
well. Yeah. So I hope you guys found some interesting and insightful things in from Rebels to topics. So yeah, thank you, Rebal. Definitely. So we do have lots of questions, but we're all gonna summarize them up and present it here, and have all of our speakers answer your questions as well. All right. Alrighty. So if you guys haven't, sign up on our website right here, www.pasive.com. So if you haven't signed up, and also it is a requirement or a task in our contest right now. So make sure you tick that up and you get 20 more chances to win the major prize of 1 year Pasive Premium for job seekers, as well as a one-on-one coaching session from us. Also, if you haven't We have a Discord community. Not only we are a product-centered company, but we also value the community as well. We definitely like your feedback on the workshop as well as everything that we've been talking about here. All the resources are present there, so make sure to join and hop on within our community. We have lots more to show you and exclusive workshops, events, as well as resources there as well. All right, so for now, we're going to have a short break. So, yeah, see you later in a bit. And we have an exciting topic as well. And see you for the Q&A session. So while we are on break, you can leave your questions here, and all of our panelists will answer them as well. All right. Welcome back, everyone. So, how did you all take your break? I hope you've eaten up or you've taken a walk so everything's fresh because our next topic is the most awaited topic actually right now, and we have actually lots of questions directly in our DMs about it. So, why don't we introduce our next topic is for Shurav. He'll be covering the core elements of a strong resume. Trust me, you'll want to tune in closely as he unpacks what makes each key section, like the summary, experience, and skills, shine. Shurav?
Righty, thank you so much, Kim, for introducing me, and welcome all of you to this live workshop that we're having. That's a great privilege for me to having this opportunity to talk with you guys, discuss and learn alongside. Right. So generally, what we think about resume is basically a piece of document that basically represents you, but resume is not just a piece of document. So what I'm going to do next is that to make you understand with some of the like visuals as well, I'm going to just present with a slide so that everyone can relate whatever I'm going to talk about, and what is the importance of this particular piece of document that every people have, but we do not know how to utilize them at its best, right? So let's get there. So Kim is my, yeah, the presentation is here, right? So basically we're going to talk about resume fundamentals, and in this particular topic we're going to discuss based on these five things, right? So what are these? First of all, resume that grab attention. So we have to have some idea about what a resume is, how a resume should be, and what it actually represents towards the recruiters that are with the jobs in hand, right? And then we technically gonna go forward and discuss the core elements of the resume, which is the contact information, the summary, the work experience, the skill set, education, and so on and so forth, right? So these are the things that are going to move forward. So first of all, we have to understand that what is a resume that actually grabs attention, right? So resume is something that is the key to unlocking your career opportunities, right? So whenever, let's say, there are a lot of jobs in different job boards, including LinkedIn, Indeed, and whatsoever, right? And we're gonna go and click the apply button with a resume. Now what is this resume is basically something that represents you, right? It is your chance to get noticed. So this is not just another document, which is more than a document that actually creates as a, let's say, if you are going to meet a person in person, the way you're going to present yourself, initially your resume does it for you, right, to the recruiter. So it is the first impression that you get through the recruiter with this document. So it should be you know crafted in such a way that it creates a very powerful impression that opens the doors to interviews. Because if you get the opportunity to have an interview, only then you can try to prove yourself, what you did, what you can bring about to the table, right? All sorts of these things. So this is a key that can land to your dream job, and to have all of this, crafting a well structured and compelling resume is very essential, right? So that's about it. Now we're going to move forward and we're going to talk about each of the aspect that a resume has in its core elements, right? So let's move forward. So first of all, whenever we look into resume, we generally see is a summary or an objective. What is this resume talks about? There is a purpose of this resume, right? So the summary point basically talks about the purpose. It is the elevator page to hook the hiring manager or the hiring team that's basically reviewing this whole thing. So now you cannot write a paragraph on a summary, right? So ideally, recruiters get a lot of resumes on a day-to-day basis, and they spend maximum a minute on the resume. So they're not going to have the entire day to look into your resume, what you've written, what are the words you've written, what the achievements, and so on and so forth. So you have to put it in such a way, in 2 to 5 sentences, you have to summarize that what is your professional strength, what are the sectors that you specialize in, and what you can bring forth on the table, or what you've already brought on the table, right? So let's say You can write something that result driven marketing specialist with 5 years of experience that actually works with developing data strategy and so on and so forth, right? So you're using some keywords: result driven marketing specialist, 5 years of experience. All of these keywords are basically words which actually brings attention that who you are. It reflects your specification, your specialization. So your summary should speak about who you are, what is your experience about, and what do you specialize in, right? In 2 to 5 sentences. And there's a pro tip is basically that you can start with a strong descriptor. Let's say once I have actually put into my resume is that I prefer culture of our company. That means that the sort of mindset I have, it basically generates a positive culture. It generates into a more flexible working environment. So you have to put the summary in such a way that people should understand your mindset, or alongside people must know about what is the specialization that you have, right? And basically we have different different jobs on the platform. So each of the summary, let's say you are someone who is a marketing specialist, right? You have done your graduation in marketing, you have quite a bit of experience in sales and marketing. Now once you're applying for this position, your summary, your objective should be tailored according to the JD or the job description as well. So that's definitely there. So that's about a brief about summary, right? And the next thing that comes into the point is the contact, right? The contact details. The essentials are your full name, your phone number, and your professional email address. Now there are certain instances we actually saw that people use emails that are not professional. So a pro tip is that in terms of using your email, you can use your name as your email address, which actually makes sense. Because let's say your name is Shorab and you're writing some blue jeans at the rate gmail.com, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make you very much professional. So it should sound professional as well. So these are the three essentials you should be on top, right? It should be pointed in such a way that once I'm actually reviewing your resume, your contact details are in my eyesight right at the point, right? So that people know that these are the things that they can go and contact with you, right? So that's there. So this is about the contact and summary. We can definitely get back into some questions if you have any later on, but moving forward we're just gonna continue with the topics that we have, and definitely we're gonna get back to this, right? So next topic is basically the core of your resume, which is the work experience. So basically this is the core that basically shows your career impact, what you have done so far, if you have any, right? So the work experience, basically there is a structure to provide the work experience. So the way we are moving forward with this discussion, which means is that there should be a summary on top of it, on top of the resume. Just on top of it, there should be a contact details with your full name, your phone number, your email address, and then you start up with the work experience that you have. Right now, to structure the work experience, you should put your job title or your designation first, so that people understand what is the position that you're holding currently. Let's say you are a recruiter, right? I'm talking in terms of the HR perspective as of now, so that it helps us to understand an ideal scenario that a recruiter thinks about. So let's say your designation is recruiter, and then under that you put the company name, let's say company X, and then you put the duration of work time you've already worked with this company. If it's a company that you've already worked, it's in your past current, it's not your current employer, you can just say, let's say May 2020 till January 2024. Or if it's something that you're still pursuing, you can just write May 2020 till continue in a bracket, let's say in the first bracket or something like that. And then you put the job responsibilities that you actually did in this job, or you are doing in this job, into bullet points. Now why bullet points? Because bullet points are certain things that actually summarize. Let's say you have done since we're talking about your experience in recruitment, as an example, let's say you're responsible for job publishing, you're responsible for CV screening, CV sourcing, calling, taking interview, onboarding, negotiating, everything. So if you are to type all these things in the resume, it will be a huge pages of resume that people is not gonna interested to look into, right? So you can just simply write, I've led 360-degree recruitment in this company or in company X, right? That means that by 360-degree recruitment, that means you've covered entire recruitment cycle, entire recruitment or employment journey, or maybe if you worked in HR compliance, entire HR compliance journey, right? So this is how you know, put the things into a resume that actually, in a short or in a more technical way, you are making people understand that you have been responsible for all the things that needs to be done in a recruitment phase, right? So bullet points is a must. Bullet points is a must, and bullet points is a must. So bullet points are the key to your success to the recruiter, so that recruiter gets to know you. So that's there definitely. In terms of once you're writing these things, try to write more in terms of as it should sound like this is an achievement, right? Instead of saying I was responsible for managing a team, try explaining that led a team of 10, right? That led a project which actually bring up 20% of increment in this fiscal year, something like that. So which actually and gives an idea to the employer that what you are, what you did, and what are the results that you came through, right? So that they can judge you, they can understand that what is your potential. Based on your potential, they're gonna give you the job or not. That's their decision. So you should be able to portray yourself in such a way that the things that you have done, even the smallest thing, if you have done, let's say there is a conflict management, is something that you want to write, right? So definitely you should be putting these things as well in the bullet points. You should not write into paragraphs into a resume. So resume, particularly in the work experience, should be focusing on achievements, should be focusing on bullet points. And definitely if you can put some percentages, put some numbers, put some metrics, these are some of the good factors that people generally take positively, that yes, this person knows what he has done and what we will be doing or she will be doing, right? So this is the thing about work experience. And this pro tip is basically about the result and achievement, to use the metrics where possible. So yeah, that's about the work experience. Let's move forward to the next slide, which is about your education. So right after work experience, you should put your education. So in terms of your education, you should definitely um, what you should do is that the recent degree that you've got, you should put it in the first, and then accordingly you write further the later degrees you've got, right? And in terms of including the details, you should put the degree. Let's say you have completed your bachelor's of business administration, right? And then you write in such a way that BBA in, and then you write your major, let's say human resource management, BBA in HRM. Under that you write your institution, this university or this college, and then you write the graduation date, let's say January 2021, or let's say January 2024, whatever the thing is, right? And accordingly um, you can go forward with further education that you did from your childhood towards your last recent degree, right? And if there is any certification, let's say you're applying for a marketing job, right? So there is a Google course that you can find online, which is basically Google Marketing Garage. So if you have done this course, you could definitely post this thing into certification that's related to your degree, or certification related to the work that you're applying for, the job that you're applying for, which will definitely make sense to the recruiter, that this person is very reliable, this person is very responsible and knows what he is or she is doing, right? So that's about the education part. Apart from that, we definitely have the skills section. So the skills section is basically a showcase that you have some unique abilities tailored to this particular positions. Let's say we're talking about any particular, let's say, talent acquisition position or recruiter position. Now you can say as a skill that you have experience in ATS, applicant tracking system, you have experience in HRIS, something sort of things like that. You should definitely match the job description with the skill set that you have. Let's say you're applying for talent acquisition recruiter position, ATS HRIS is something that you must write. If you are applying for any let's say any HR operational role, so definitely you should be able to handle HRMS, HR management system, or handle any compensation related software that helps with the compensation and daily HR operations positions, right? So these are the things that you can definitely put in your skills section, and these will be definitely a highlighted point, because nowadays the job that people actually advertise, they specifically write that these are the tools, or these are the softwares they basically prefer. If people are applying, they prefer that they should have some knowledge or experience on these are the you know uh, software. So if you put those things as a highlight into your skills section, definitely it will grab the attention of the recruiter. Yes, this is something that we're looking for, and it is actually written on his resume or on her resume. So definitely it's going to grab the attention. So your resume is basically to grab the attention of the recruiter so that they contact you, they actually talk to you, or they're interested in you. So you should put your resume in such a way regarding your skills, your work experience, your certifications, in such a way it should be in such a way it should be clustered that it actually reflects the job that you're applying, right? So recruiters must have this idea that, let's say, this is the JD and this is the resume. Now this JD and this resume almost relates at least more than 60%, that this person who actually submitted his resume or her resume basically uh, gave those points that we're actually looking for. So these are the some of the mindset they have to build up over the time, and you should be conscious of these things while you're writing on a resume. So consciousness is a big part of putting these things all together and making it as a compatible resume for the recruiters to get in touch with, right? So that's everything from my end. Thank you so much. So that would be all. If there are any questions, happy to answer them.
That was amazing. Such practical tips, Sharav. Like, I really like it. Thank you for
Thank
that. Even
you.
I definitely learned so much. My resume doesn't have like those metrics that you said. uh yeah, definitely a mind opening for me, like a mind opener. So it is I
So nice to
yeah,
meet you. Yeah.
yeah, awesome. So definitely a big step for people out there to land their interviews, because they are able to pass the ATS, uh the screening process as well, by improving your resume. It's your forefront,
Yeah,
essentially.
it is. It is. Basically, this is the one. If you pass with that, definitely you can land up on the other things accordingly with my respective speakers that actually give the ideas and everything. So yeah, taking those all, definitely someone should able to elevate their recruitment journey.
Exactly. Even if like you're very good at interviews, but if you can't actually pass the screening first, so there's no point.
Yeah, there's no point, right? So yeah,
All right. I hope everyone is done. So I've actually handpicked all of your questions here, and we can hear more from our panelists regarding your queries, questions, and your interest regarding the topics. So I'll add everyone to the stage, including Mark and Ribal, to answer your questions. So I've organized this so you guys can answer one by one. All right. So this question is about finding jobs. So it's for you, Mark. So first off, what are the effective ways to find job openings that aren't posted on traditional job boards?
Okay. Well, I would say in regards to this one, there are a few different ways on how you can find jobs that are not posted in job boards. I would say probably number one would be maximizing the job aggregators that I was talking about earlier. One best example is Google Jobs, wherein it's organized every jobs and consolidate it into one platform and give you different job openings from different companies. Now, if for example you still haven't find the company that offers the skills that you were looking into, second option that you can take is gather all your skills and also your what do we call this? All your skills and also your um, experience, and basically target companies that offers the same skill set that you have. For example, let's say on the tech side, let's say Google, for example. So visit the website and then check the job openings there. If sometimes most of the companies do not post their job openings from job boards because of their internal recruitment. There are two ways of recruitment, by the way, passive and active. So most of the time, recruiters are doing active recruiting, wherein they're just find people and don't post any job opening. So the best thing is to visit the website directly, because 100%, not totally 100%, but I would say 95%, all the job openings might be posted from their website. And last option would be, right now it's very modern. You can definitely maximize the use of AI to find you the job that you're looking for. And it would give you a lot of resources, a lot of links, and options basically to get a job that is not posted in any traditional job boards.
Awesome. So, not all jobs are actually posted. For example, in LinkedIn, JobStreet, or Indeed, right?
I agree, yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's interesting. So, if there are like internal hirings, they get prioritized more.
Yes, because in the start, in some companies, they prioritize active recruiting. So that's how they do it. And just to add up, Kim, some companies do not post their openings because of they don't want to um, let the active employees within the company that they're looking for a specific person, because of probably they want to remove someone and they don't want that someone to be aware that he's going to be removed. So that's why they are not posting any job openings on job portals, not unless this person has been removed already and they are freely to post anything on job boards.
Wow, that's actually interesting. Some insider news for you guys out there. So, I do have another DM related to job hunting. So this person says, I am having trouble finding jobs and I prefer LinkedIn, but there are thousands applying in the same job post. Can you give me any tips?
Yeah, certainly. So for this one, it's pretty basic. All you just have to do is to maximize the filters in LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, there are some filters. What industry would you like to target? Is it about engineering? Is it about tech? Is it about manpower? So you must maximize those filters so that it can give you right away what are the jobs that you prefer to apply to. And also setting up um what do we call this? Whenever someone opens a job, for example, whenever a company opens a job, it will notify you in LinkedIn that, hey, this company has an opening under HR. You might want to apply. So those, those things or those filters that will definitely help you when it comes to applying to a job, basically. And I would say it's very helpful because you will get to know right away that there's an opening, because it will send you an email notification that's linked to your LinkedIn account. And if you have the application, or if you frequently visit your LinkedIn account, for example, it will show up a notification from your LinkedIn that there's a job opening and that you are eligible to apply early. So those are the things that, if we're just talking about LinkedIn, Kim, right? So yeah, those are the two things that they can definitely maximize in LinkedIn.
Awesome. Yeah, well said, actually. So, another question is, what's your advice for staying motivated during a long and tiring job search with lots of rejections?
Mhm. Okay, all right. Well, this is a great question. It's we all know. I'm pretty sure we've been to job rejections before as well. Um, there's one thing I think that will get you tired and burn out, by finding job. First, I think it's because of you not discovering why you're failing the job interviews, why you're failing to meet the standards that these companies that you're applying to is not being met. So for you to be able to land on a job, you have to identify as well what are the reasons why I'm being rejected every time I applied for a job. Is it because of my communication skills? Is it because of the format of my CV? Is it because of the way how I presented my skills to them? So those are the things that you have to find out first for you to be able to showcase yourself to an interviewer. So, for you to stay motivated, you just have to have a self discipline when it comes to finding the right job for you. I believe we've discussed that, everyone discussed that earlier. You have to have the right skill and mindset when finding a job. Finding a job nowadays is not easy. There's a lot of competitors, there's a lot of applicants, and everything is digital nowadays. So I would say right now, it's first come, first serve. So you must have to have this discipline that if you're looking for a job, you have to be focused and make sure that you want to get in the first time. So those are the things that I would share probably instead of taking every rejection as a negative. Use that to power yourself to find what's the problem. How can I make this into a positive? Basically, which is finding the reason, improving yourself, how you can ease every interviews, and finally landing a job. So yeah, that's it for me, Kim.
Awesome. So I one popped up. So this is about ATS. So Rebal, can you take this away? So Uzair says that could you recommend me any online tools or systems that evaluate whether a resume is optimized for ATS compliance?
Sure. You can use JobScan. You can use Resi. You can use Top Resumes, Free ATS Resume Scan. And there are multiple tools online that you can find, multiple websites you can find online that can actually scan your resumes for you. You can also use and leverage AI nowadays to review your resumes or help you make one. So use the best and latest trends that you can find, and just prepare your resume that way.
Yeah, I like personally. I think we're pretty lucky these days that we have AI now to
Absolutely.
like help us regarding these new technologies like ATS as well. So yeah, definitely. Uh, for you, Shurav, someone says, uh, Mark Patigayon says, what are the key elements that make a resume stand out to hiring managers?
So basically, the elements that the hiring manager is actually looking for. So once you're applying for a job, now in the job description, they're looking for, let's say, marketing specialist with this qualification or this key skill set. Now you should be, let's say you don't have all the five things. Let's say they put a list of five things that you need to have, but you don't have the five things as an experience to you. So you have to, use those keywords in your resume, as in terms of your experience, in terms of your skill set. Let's say they needed someone as a campaign specialist, but in general you didn't ever have any campaign specialist position. You were in a general marketing position. So you have to what you should do. If I was in your place, I should Google what campaign specialist does, what are the key elements that they bring in the table. And if you have any relevant experience in terms of your in your education, since you are a marketing enthusiast, you definitely have a lot of project that you've done, right? So is there any relevance in your education? Is there any relevance that you have did any classes on your courses, or anything that you can skill up with a certification, let's say using any online platform? Let's say in Udemy there are a lot of different courses, right? You can pick one of those courses immediately. There are 1 hour or 5 days courses, 3 days courses with certification they give, and there are most of them are free, right? So you can have a research on these things, and you can pick up those things, and then you put these things into your resume that reflects the job description into resume. So basically, what they need to see is that what they're looking for, is it in a resume or not, right? So you're saying that I don't have the experience, but apart from experience, you have a lot of other things that we already discussed in the resume part, right? Your education, your skills, your certifications. So you can reflect those things. What you need to do is just this: you need to research that what are the things that are relevant to this particular point, and what I can do about this. Even if I don't have it, what I can do about this, and you can just customize your resume. So we definitely, Kim, we definitely have another topic regarding tailoring your resume according to the job description. So definitely that will be a fantastic part. With examples, we can definitely talk on much more. So Mark, I definitely invite you to the next session that we definitely gonna have, so you can get a much more insight about these things, and definitely will be hopefully answer your question much more briefly with much more example. I hope it helps for now.
So yeah, very well said. So I hope you learned lots of input from that. So actually, Mark has another question to follow it up. So this is for ATS. So how do applicant tracking systems actually work, and why are they really important nowadays?
So Mark, ATS can actually, so to answer your first part of the question, how do they work? So they basically filter out uh, candidates or resumes based on the relevancy of the job that's being posted. So based on the JD, there are certain keywords that are mentioned there about the role, certain qualities required in the candidate or the person or the incumbent coming in for the job. So make sure to add those keywords in your resume so that the ATS can probably filter you out as the relevant candidate. So the ATS basically just filters out resumes, helps candidate moves along the process and keeps them updated of which stage they're in of the recruitment process. So how are they important? They can actually help you land, in front of a recruiter, in front of a person who's going to take your interview, or they can probably push you out of the process, depending on the kind of keywords you use, depending on the kind of formatting your resume has. So all of these things, there are multiple variables that come into play, and all of these come together to actually make sure what your journey looks like in the recruitment process.
Yeah, and it also speeds up the process of like recruitment,
Absolutely.
right? So if for example really have a good resume, it means I can get interviewed faster and hopefully get onboarded faster, right?
It definitely increases your chances of being considered as a good applicant.
Awesome. So there are good sites as well for ATS
Absolutely.
for the job seekers. Also, another private or direct question in our DMs. What's the best way to prepare for behavioral interview questions, and how can candidates showcase their skills effectively?
In one of the sessions previously, I mentioned to use the STAR method. So situation, task, action, and result. So this is one of the best methods that you can use in forming your responses to during an interview. So this helps the interviewer gauge your presence of mind and to see how aware you were and what your learnings were. So, aside from the STAR method, I mean, showcase what you learned from any question that they ask. So, the interviewer knows what you went through, how aware you were, and what you took out from that experience to help you grow and mature as the professional you are today. So, all of that comes into play. Also, make use of your soft skills. That comes in handy. So whenever you're making sure you respond, not just verbally, by your posture, by visual cues, all of that come in handy. So make sure culminate all of that into one single area and present it all together as one.
Awesome. So definitely star method definitely helps. What is star method again? The acronym?
The situation, the task, the action you took, and the results that were derived from the action. So
Note those down,
whenever
guys.
you're asked a question, I'm sorry to cut you off. So whenever you're asked a question, describe a time, or just share any instance where you had to do such and such task. So always start from the situation, what the situation was, what tasks needed, what task that you had to do, and the action that you took, and the result that was, the consequence of that action. So all of this shapes up the response really well, and just portrays a very good response, and a response in terms of the behavioral questions that are being asked.
Amazing. So, another anonymous question. This is for you, Shurab. So, what's the biggest resume red flag that recruiters see? Hmm.
Pretty tricky actually. There is, I don't think there is one biggest red flag. There can be a lot of red flags, right? Starting from let's say in the contact section, right? So the way you are, putting your email, it reflects what sort of personality you have. Let's say my name is Shorov, right? And I'm putting blue, green, red, yellow at the rate gmail.com, right? That's another email address that we have. But generally, whenever a recruiter sees something like that, so I remember this example from my internship time. So this was my first internship that I was into a pharmaceutical company, one of the big pharmaceutical company in our country, and I went for this job interview. So there were like some technical question they were asking with they're like the big office, but they have like a lot of plants over the country. So like they're gonna select four of them. So I was one of them while in the interview panel. So someone who was from another university has an email address something like this that I mentioned, and the recruiter was saying that I called you just to know what do you mean by this email address, right? I just called you just to know what do you actually mean by this email address. So this is one of the things that actually reflects you. So you have to always remember that whatever you're gonna put into this document, it's actually gonna reflect, or it's gonna represent to you, right? It's a representation of yourself. So if you are a person who's gonna go directly for a job interview to a recruiter, which you cannot do, but your resume is doing. So you have to be aware that what is that you're putting. So that can be one example. Another big thing generally people does is that um, they put a lot of information. You should not put a lot of information because recruiters don't have the time to go through each of the resume line by line and reading it out. They don't have the time. If it's something that's very fuzzy, that's not in very synchronized way, doesn't look very clean to the eye, they're probably going to skip it. So cleanliness, synchronization, the way you put the things. If you put education in first, it implies that you are more you're giving importance to the education part rather than your skills or your job experience. So if you're going for a corporate job, you definitely should come up with the work experience in the core part initially, and then education. If you're going for, let's say, you're going for any fellowship, any PhD program, you should definitely put your papers on first, your education on first, right? So this is basically based on what you're going for. So you should know what you're going for, and accordingly you should behave. There is not this is not a rocket science. It's a very simple thing. You have to be just conscious that what you are seeing, what you're applying, and you just do accordingly, right? So so there is no biggest red flags. These are the things that you have to keep in mind while putting this resume all together. That's it. Thank you.
Amazing. I definitely have a lot to learn from that. Yeah, I like me. I'm a participant here as well. I am learning so much.
Yeah, well, same here actually, yes.
Actually, we have a question about networking. So I think Mark, you can answer this one. It's related to your topic.
Mhm.
So, how can job seekers stand out when networking, especially when they don't have a large professional network yet?
Okay, so how can job seekers stand out when networking? For this one, I would say, because this is what I advise with, with my candidates before. If your experience is not that, I would say it's not that strong enough to showcase to recruiters or to employers, try to get some certifications, and also enroll to some self-development exams or portals that you can definitely put into your CV. For example, usually it's involves in tech. There are some certification that is required for you to take the job. Now, some employers, if you don't have any experience, definitely they don't know you what where your skill stands out basically. So I usually recommend to get certifications because from there there's a certifying body that will prove that uh, you as a certain candidate has this type of skill set that they're looking even though you don't have any work experience. So that's one thing. Second is connecting to top tier recruiter, I would say, hiring managers, talent acquisition specialists. It's basically widening your network within a network, right? And introducing yourself to them. Like I'm currently exploring new opportunities that, might open in the future in your company, then I might be, selected to be one of the candidates to be interviewed in the future. So those are the things that they can definitely do when it comes to how to basically enlarge their network when it comes to networking and recruitment.
So actually this is like a personal experience for me. So when applying to, for example, a company with their job post, do you recommend like leaving a message, like a positive message for the recruiter or someone that is relevant to the hiring process? So do you think like that's a good way to show that I am very like interested or motivated to get that job?
Yeah, it is certainly 100%. Companies would love to hear the feedback, of course, of the candidates as well. First is to improve their process, and second is to basically know what is their process currently stands out. Is it on a slow phase? Is it on a high phase or whatnot? So um, providing feedback or comment to recruiters, whether you are commending the recruiter, commending the process, or commending the company because of the culture that they're promoting when it comes to recruitment, um, gives a ton of uh, idea on how they can improve the process and at the same time, how they can assist you better. And on the other hand, you as a candidate, recruiters, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you have to leave some footprints. Like I remember this candidate because this candidate provided me a good feedback, a good statement when it comes to our recruitment process. And by then, that really shows that you are really invested and interested when it comes to pursuing your career in that certain organization. So it's you leaving a mark to them, basically.
Leaving a mark to them. Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely very good tip actually. So it's a good tip for you guys. So it gives you like it essentially shows that you are very invested to the company, and yeah, it gives you on a positive note as well. So actually, Mark is on fire. Mark Patigayon. He asked another question about ATS. What keywords should you include in your resume to get past ATS?
So, good question, Mark. So, firstly, there are very generic keywords. For example, as a recruiter, if I'm applying for a job, what are the relevant keywords for me? So it could be, um, you know, diversity and inclusion, recruitment, talent acquisition, anything along those lines, right? But for if I have to really apply and focus on the keywords that need to be on my resume, I need to have a better look at the job description that's posted, because I should you know drive most of the keywords that I need from the JD so that it's more relevant. The relevancy increases. So as much as I can match it with the JD, with the job description that's posted, the more relevant my profile would seem. So there is no generic keyword that you can use, but I would refer to the JD that's out there and use the keywords from that into your resume to get the best results.
So essentially, like an applicant should tailor their whole resume uh, in accordance to the job post, right?
Not necessarily the entire resume. So the basic template of the resume would remain the same. However, there would be certain areas that you would have to, just take out certain words and implement the keywords. So don't change the entire narrative of the resume. Just let it stay the same. Implement the keywords here and there, and it'll be best for you to have a resume template that you can tweak around every now and then. So you don't have to change out the entire thing and create a resume every time from scratch.
Alrighty. I hope that answers your question, Mark. So actually, this is the last question that we're going to have for today, and this is for Shurab. So this is an anonymous question. How can job seekers? I don't know. How about what about for fresh graduates? There are with no experience yet. What should we highlight on our resume?
Mm, so let's say, so generally what happens, any job uh, that's been that's been posted by a recruiter or company, so they never say that they, it's very very rare that they say we need freshers, right? So generally it is at least 1 to 2 years of experience you need, right? Even if you're a fresher, you still need 1 to 2 years of experience. So in that case, right, generally, what I used to do is that, um, in my initial career plan, I didn't used to look into the experience. If there's something, let's say, let's not go into details, let's just focus on the question itself. So in terms of fresh graduates, right, if you have no experience, what should you highlight in your resume? First of all, you should highlight the extracurricular activities, the clubs, the business competitions, the courses, the certification that you did. So let's say, um, in your university, or in your BBA degree, or whatsoever, it definitely, there are clubs, there are different business competition. So you should definitely put yourself into those actions as well, and you should definitely focus. These are the things that you did alongside your study, right? Which actually, once you go for a business competition, so it gives you an outsider view of the world itself. It gives you a corporate touch that actually the corporate people goes on. There are panelists, there are different sets of atmosphere you go on. So you definitely should put these things as in terms of your work experience. If there is any volunteer experience that you did, any internships, because you don't need to have any experience for internships, right? So you can put those things: internship, volunteers, your extracurricular activities, business competitions, any certifications, a lot of things, right? So you not don't have to have the, everyone has a starting point, everyone, right? We, like all of us four talking here, we also went through this phase, right? So we have to start from zero, right? So you don't worry about it. You focus on the things, that the position that you're applying or you will be applying, you just focus that this is the relevant information I'm giving in my resume. Not in terms of work experience. If you do not have, that's all right, you can put it in terms of your internship experience, you can put it in terms of your voluntary experience, right? Let's say I don't have any internship experience as of now, what should I put now? So please go for an internship. I'll suggest you go for an internship. You work for 3 months and you understand, and then you portray it in your resume, and definitely you will be getting a better job rather than the first time you are applying for. So that's one tip. Number second is that I don't want to go for internship. I just want to apply for any job right now. So please focus on the business competition, your volunteers experience, if there is any business competitions, extracurricular activities, what you have done. If you have done clubbing, you can put, I was the vice president of this club, I was the, something like this, right? So you have to put something on the table so that the other person knows that yes, you have some, apart from your just, regular education, apart from the regular education, you have did something which actually reflects your mindset as well, that now this person is something who's going to go out and do something for himself. If he can do something for himself or herself, that means something will be definitely putting him or her for my company as well, right? So this is how the company actually thinks about that. What is the other part is going to do for me? It's a two-way thing always. So always a two-way thing. So you should definitely focus on this part. Hopefully you can land up on better jobs.
So yeah, like fresh graduates essentially have uh, a blank resume. So what you suggest is like taking up those internships or going or adding experiences within the previous organizations within the
Right.
university. So anything that they can fill in the gaps that are relevant to the job, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, guys, that is the last question for this moment, this day. We have 2 days left for you guys to enjoy on a workshop and lots of more interesting topics as well. We're going to deep dive into everything related to resume, even AI as well. So, definitely lots of things. So, I hope that we've answered most of your questions, and I hope that you all have learned a lot from our one of the very best recruiters that actually have volunteered here in Pasive. So thank you all for such a great day one. I hope you've gained valuable insights and are feeling inspired right now. Tomorrow, we'll dive deeper into resume structure, tailoring techniques. Be ready to learn even more, and see you all then. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kim. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Kim. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
guys.